Group Indom, Dr. Papakwesi Indom, has expressed his disappointment in how Ghanaians jump and celebrate the failure of fellow Ghanaians. Speaking on the issue of Anas number 12 expose and the damage it has caused the former GFA boss Kwesi Nyantakyi, Dr. Indom indicated that people who weren't in support of Kwesi Nyantakyi are all happy about his downfall and rushing to occupy vacancies created following the investigative piece.
Embattled Ghana Football Association President Kwesi Nyantakyi stepped down in the wake of allegations of corruption leveled against him. The development came on the back of screening of an investigative documentary titled Number 12, which captured him together with other top officials and referees of the FA engaging in various underhand dealings. But Mr. Nyantakyi in a statement stressed that his resignation was not an admission of guilt. Mr. Nyantakyi, however, directed an apology to President Nana Akufo-Addo, the Vice President Mahamadou Bawumia, and other ministers of state. In an interview with President of Group Indom, Dr. Papakwesi Indom on Easy FM, he expressed disappointment in how people are jubilating on his downfall.
If you want someone to fail before you get something, life doesn't work that way. Even if someone fails and you by default, you get to sit somewhere, you may not have prepared yourself well, and then you will fail. Okay? So failure, it shouldn't be a cause for us to rejoice. It should be a cause for us to examine what we are doing and make sure that we don't make the same mistakes. Okay? That's how things should work.
According to him, it's unfortunate how those who weren't in support of Kwesi Nyantakyi as GFA president are now rushing to fill in positions vacant at the GFA after the expose.
Mr. Nyantakyi, yeah, he's exhibited failure, okay, but is it the end of his life? No. And so there are some people who, they couldn't compete with him at the GFA, okay. And so they've been looking to knock him down. Now, unfortunately, the man has failed, so they want to rush to get his seat. Is that how you do it? Okay, you have to earn a seat by your own, good deeds. Okay, not by the failure of somebody.
On Wednesday, June 6, the Adjudicatory Chamber of the FIFA Ethics Committee received a complaint and request from Anas through Cromwell Gray LLP to commence investigations into the conduct of Kwesi Nyantakyi based on the content of the journalist's latest work. Mr. Nyantakyi, who is also the first vice president of the Confederation of African Football, CAF, was the first person publicly implicated in alleged corruption ahead of the expose titled Number 12 screening.
And so wisdom coming from Dr. Papakwesi Indom, the chairman of Group Indom there. Now, the Deputy Northern Regional Minister, Honorable Hamlet Boa, has condemned a call by a former minister in the NDC government, Honorable Mahama Ayariga, for the government officials named in the recent Anas expose to be investigated.
What you have just said belongs to the school of the mischievous lot. You can be sure that people who are out for mischief, people who don't mean the president well, people who don't mean the president and his government well, will certainly cash in and begin to say a lot of things which has no basis. How can somebody on earth in Ghana today ever think that the president should be impeached because of this issue of football saga in Ghana? I think that we must be very, all of us must condemn whatever we have seen, whatever we have witnessed, whatever we have observed all over as far as the football corruption is concerned in this country. And for me, I think we should thank a patriot like Anas, Amio Anas, for doing his best to ensure that the ills of the society are brought out for all of us to do a serious, sober reflection. And if you watch the video, you will realize that it has nothing to do with the president. It has nothing to do with the vice president. Somebody in his boastful nature mentioning that, oh, I can talk to the president, I can talk to the vice president, I can talk to ministers of state, doesn't necessarily mean that he talked to them. He was just trying to pose it before Tiger PI or Tiger IPI that yes, I am somebody that is influential in society.
Now, the Speaker of Parliament, Professor Mike Okwe, has joined the leadership of the majority to register in the ongoing registration of members of the legislature for the Ghana card. Now, the exercise has lasted for about 2 weeks in Parliament, but so far the minority has maintained its stance and not to participate in the process.
So far, the National Democratic Congress minority in Parliament has boycotted the National Identification Registration exercise for parliamentarians. A statement issued by the caucus leader, Haruna Idrisu, said they are unable to take part in the process due to several challenges, including the limitation of the registration to only persons with birth certificates and passports. We remain opposed to the restriction of identification requirements for registration to passports and birth certificates. Our analysis shows that this will prevent about 23 million Ghanaians from obtaining the Ghana card and deprive them of any benefits thereof. The statement further accused the NIA of not being transparent in communicating details of the Ghana card project to the public, noting that its information showed that the total cost of the project was $1.4 with a tax exemption of $176 million, although the Chief Executive Officer of the NIA, Professor Ken Atifa, insists that the project will cost $293 million. The NIA has, however, gone ahead to be doing the registration for members of the legislature in spite of the court threat by the minority. The Speaker, flanked by leadership, took his turn to register for the Ghana card. The Member of Parliament for Bantama urged the minority to stop the petty politics and take part in this critical national exercise.
I mean, this is about Ghana. I see the Speaker has just registered today, which is good, beautiful, and I'm sure you guys are going to be able to let people know. And all the leadership are registered. So I would just tell them, please come around. It's about Ghana. It's not about MPP or NDC. This is Ghana card. What is their fear? Everybody is questioning, why are they not registering? What is their fear? I mean, we started the national voters ID in the same way. And the registration criteria is not only two. It's not only passport and what do you call it, birth certificate. If you have passport and birth certificate, according to the NIA, it's not automatic. You have to be interviewed, as we saw the Speaker being interviewed, even though he had some of those documents. I have gone through today to the registration, and I had my passport, yet I was interviewed before I could get a card. So I think this is about Ghana. Anybody who loves Ghana, who is patriotic, should come around and register. And I encourage my friends in minority to come around and also register. Ghana first. Take a cue from the Speaker and register. He's our leader. And so let's follow.
Information received from the boss of the NIA indicates that apart from the refusal of the minority to register the exercise has gone on smoothly.
And so there are some members of Parliament and the Speaker himself has registered, and the Honourable there saying that Ghana first, make sure you go and register. Now, Ghana and the West Africa's representative on the AU Advisory Board on Corruption, Daniel Batidam, has resigned, citing deep-seated corruption and lack of accountability, among others, at the Secretariat of the Board and at the AUC Commission for his action.
The AU Advisory Board on Corruption is an autonomous organ established within the AU and tasked with the core function of preventing and combating corruption among members of the continental body. The board is mandated to deal with corruption and related themes in Africa. According to Mr. Batdam, his resignation letter dated June 8, 2018 reached the office of the chair of AU on June 12, and a reply acceptance letter from the chair of the AU was sent to him within 48 hours. According to him, the acceptance letter came too fast and failed to take cognizance of the serious issues he raised in his letter. Mr. Batidam revealed that he took the decision to prompt the AU Commission to take urgent action to deal with the malfeasance at the continental body. Corruption remains a major anti-development problem on the continent. According to Transparency International, of the 10 countries considered most corrupt in the world, 6 are in the sub-Saharan Africa.
Now I'll take a quick break. I'm back after this ad.
They have the natural curiosity to investigate and bring to bear stories that are closer to their roots or distant from their mood. Their fans are glued to sets to watch, hear or read, but never know who they really are when they are off the set. Enduring questions that further solidifies the bond that exists between you and your favorite media personality. Get to know them better than ever. The Other Side with Pamela Boateng.
In every nation, there are national values and resources that drive international competitiveness and patronage of products made from such countries. And for these national values and resources, investors and tourists alike would like to relocate or site their operation in such countries. Ghana is undoubtedly endowed with many mineral resources. The Ghanaian hospitality has gained global recognition in addition to the nation's admirable democratic achievements. But why would investors and tourists alike contemplate to visit and or invest in another country other than Ghana, the touted gateway to Africa? What is the competitive advantage of Ghana and its institutions in the sub-region? Join me, Godwin Oga Audi, as we engage industry and sector-specific stakeholders to critically assess the competitiveness of both private and public institutions in Ghana.
In the future, every child, man, woman in every corner of the world will be connected. Anything that you want to know will be available at the snap of a finger. The future brings endless possibilities, but we must never forget who we are, Ghanaians. Now, who is excited about the future? Me!
The future is here. Experience the all-new GN Electronics Smart TV. Experience international quality assembled right here in Ghana. For more information, contact 050-144-9465. GN Electronics. Good quality comes from home.
Welcome back from the break. We are live on GNTV. My name is Anthony Simpson. The news continues. Join us on our social media handles on Twitter at GNTVGH, Facebook at GNTVGH, and on YouTube at GNTVGH. Now, the principal nursing officer at the Family and Reproductive Health Department of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Madam Rose Edufo, has suggested that improvements in the application of preventive strategies could considerably reduce the burden of cervical cancer in Ghana, more especially the trend among adolescents, which needs urgent attention.
Cervical cancer is a common cancer among women worldwide. An estimated 528,000 new cases and 266,000 deaths occurred in 2012. More than 85% of invasive cervical cancer cases occur in low and middle class income countries. Cervical cancer ranks as the most common cancer among women in Ghana. However, the trend of adolescents having cervical cancer means they are exposed to sexual activities, and the situation needs to be addressed and before it gets out of hand. Madam Rose Edufo is the principal nursing officer at the Family and Reproductive Health Department of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
In the procedure, during the screening, we had some young ones whose results came out to be positive. which for us, we were excited. It was picked at that time because all the questions we were asking was, if not for this campaign, would you genuinely had worked in for the procedure? And they said no. And you know, it comes into there are obvious changes on the surface, so we have to move on to another level of the treatment modalities. But you know, if there is financial support, then you should be able to also support this client, because the more the other modalities of diagnosis and treatment comes in, definitely the cost involved is going to be high. But if you have other financial assistance to give to this person, then you would also make them very comfortable to actually follow up for their treatment.
A report published by Journal of Global Oncology's retrospective study to assess the descriptive epidemiology of cervical cancer in Ghana describes cervical cancer incidence and mortality rate for the region served by 2 large hospitals in Ghana between 2010 and 2012. It reviewed a total of about 1,725 women with cervical cancer. Their ages range from 11 to 100 years, mean, which is about 56.9 years.
Now, yoga has been recommended to cure a number of severe health problems, and it's in such as diabetes. This is according to a yoga instructor. Gntv has been speaking with Nana Amwakun Aniu, a yoga instructor. International Yoga Day has been observed across the globe on Thursday, June 2018, with various yoga training programs, camps, seminars, workshops organized across the world at big levels.
Yoga is a physical, mental, and spiritual practice originated in India. The then Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his UN address, suggested the date of 21st June as it is the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere and shares special significance in many parts of the world. Although yoga has been practiced for centuries, it has emerged from a secret tradition for spiritual evolution to become a popular mainstream philosophy for holistic self-improvement. This popularity has resulted in the emergence of people joining this lifestyle. Educating the public more on this, a yoga instructor tells GNTV yoga helps people improve their physical well-being, noting someone who does yoga on a regular basis has more than just a beautiful body, but also a very healthy one. She outlined some specific diseases yoga helps cure.
Well, the ultimate benefit is the reason why many people come to our studio, which is Bliss Yoga Accra here in the Movenpick. The ultimate benefit is usually physical. Somebody's trying to lose weight, maybe she's had a baby recently, or particularly hasn't been working out for a few years and wants to strengthen the body. So that's usually generally the first step that people are looking to, and that's ultimately what will happen. If you're taking a class like once a week or twice a week or even just once a month, that change in your physiology will show. And so that's the first benefit. The second benefit ultimately is circulation. Because we live in a society in general in Ghana and everywhere in the world where we're sitting for like 7 hours a day, our blood doesn't move. And so when your blood doesn't move, that's when the ailments come on. That's where you have heart issues. That's where you have circulation issues that might be related to your blood, like diabetes. That's where you have sore back, sore neck. So ultimately, when you practice yoga, the second benefit is this evolution of blood flow and circulation, and that creates youthfulness. So people who practice yoga generally tend to look younger or feel younger because the blood is moving more.
According to Nana Mwakwenu, this celebration has not been in vain because more people have come to know the importance of it, more especially Ghanaians, not just for the misconceptions about yoga, but for the numerous health benefits one derives from it.
I would say it's a lifestyle. Okay. Yoga is a lifestyle. It should be a lifestyle, meaning it should be a part of your day every day. Sometimes when we say a culture, we almost start to think about a fad or something that's like popular for a moment. But if you think about how many years ago this has been happening, currently right now it's becoming part of people's lifestyles. People are asking themselves, am I healthy? Am I well? And they're starting to build that into their daily life. And that's where we're winning when we use the word lifestyle. I think it's worth to celebrate. Millions of people are practicing already, but it's actually bringing attention to the concept that you can live well. That's what International Yoga Day means to me. It's not sort of this celebration of just the movement and the actual symbol of what yoga is. It's the celebration of health for the world.
By changing lifestyle and creating consciousness, it will go a long way to tackle some of these countless problems society faces, and advocated all to work towards adopting a yoga lifestyle.
My advice would be to tell them the time is now. The time is now. You need to actually do. People say, I'm not flexible, I'm not fit, I can't come, I'm going to get tired, I'm embarrassed. Just one class. It's like the idea, we just want you to start. We're inviting all of our students. We have classes all week long.
International Day of Yoga was declared unanimously by the United Nations General Assembly and is celebrated annually on 21st June since its inception in 2015.
Now I'll take a quick break now. When I come back, Edem Kungwe will be here with business news.
Body and beyond, the touch of relief.
There's more to life than where one begins, and which is George Weah.
I'm not setting up.
His presidency would mark the first time.
Be a good boy, be a good girl. How did you muster the courage to call Mrs. Indu to tell her we lost or have lost £2 billion?
And still attracts me to Pastor Toby.
You know, all the stories about me and being in business, this was the worst.
Welcome back from that break and welcome to the business segment with me, Edem Kungbe. In today's story, Ndela Africa Company Limited, the sole distributor of Fiat vehicles in Ghana, has unveiled one new brand of vehicle in the country. The Fiat Tipo was launched at the ceremony held at the company's garage at the industrial area in Accra. The Chief Executive Officer of Ndela Company Limited, Paul Faheti, briefing the media during the unveiling, said the new vehicle has unique features to give buyers exceptional driving experience.
Fiat Tipo car is equipped with some of the most advanced safety systems as standard. It is a 1.6-liter engine with navigation system, driver, passenger and side airbags, anti-lock braking system, Bluetooth hands-free connectivity, seat belt alert, electric power steering, CD system with MP3 and USB, central door locking specifically made for the African market. According to Chief Executive Officer of Ndela Company Limited, Paul Flaherty, the new Fiat Tipo car is a low-budget vehicle with low fuel consumption and fitted with highly improved features aimed at the safety and comfort of the user.
For one thing, the Tipo is a new design from Europe by Fiat. A brand new design. They brought back an old nameplate, which is the Tipo, which is a famous name of Fiat throughout, but an older model. This one is brand new engineering, brand new design. It has the 1.6 liter, very fuel efficient engine but also with plenty of power. It has special modifications for the African marketplace, including the upgraded suspension package, tropical area kits, and also the bad fuel package for use in petrol engines such as this one. So there's a tremendous amount of different modifications that Ndela has factory ordered exclusively for the West African marketplace.
The Fiat Tipo sells at $20,000 depending on the option.
This is a $20,000, depending upon the options, $20,000 model, whereas the Toyota is $24,000, $26,000.
Sales manager of Ndela Africa Company Limited, Daniel Kua, expressed delight at the response of the Ghanaian market at the fact that they have embraced their product and is looking forward for more sales of their new product.
So far, so good with the partnership of the GN Group. We are doing so well. We have feasibility on the Ghanaian markets, and then it's my belief that gradually with the introduction of the new Fiat Tipo, will do well on the Ghanaian market.
Ndela provides fleet sales, fleet rental, spare parts sales and services, driver and security training and specialty engineering to companies and government customers. Ndela also offers solutions for fleet-wide deployment or support your field team with temporary deployment support services worldwide.
National Director of the Ministry of Gender, Comfort Asare, has stated that Ghana has a huge tourism potential with an exciting mix of products such as culture, ecotourism and heritage. In view of this, she has opined that a little support from stakeholders by purchasing locally made products will put Ghana's tourism in brisk and more favorable competition on the international market.
The Export and Import Act 1995 of Act 503 of Ghana defined non-traditional export or NTEs to include all export products with the exception of cocoa beans, lumber and logs, unprocessed gold and other materials and electricity. The NTE sector, which plays a critical role in Ghana's economy, being one of the principal sources of foreign exchange generation.
Tourism in Ghana is said to be one of the biggest untapped resources in a country blessed with natural resources, diverse cultural heritage, with historical artifacts which are pregnant with history and trapped into the many forts and castles dotted around the country. These things make Ghana stand out among her peers in the League of Nations as a worthy candidate to reap in the benefits that tourism offers. It is against this context that the National Director in charge of Gender at the Ministry of Gender, Comfort Asare, urged Ghanaians to appreciate what we have to help drive investors into the country.
The glowing competition for tourism behoves on us to up our game in the development and promotion of our dear country, Ghana. As the saying goes, charity begins at home, and for others to appreciate what Ghana has to offer on the tourism menu, we ourselves as Ghanaians should first appreciate what we have. Ghana has huge tourism potential with an exciting mix of products such as culture, ecotourism, heritage, beach and conference tourism, and the people well acclaimed as warm and friendly. We have the ingredients of a beckoning and enticing destination. Tourism being an engine for development through foreign exchange earnings and creation of direct and indirect employment directly contributes to community development and poverty reduction.
The Chief Executive Officer of Exim Bank, Lawrence Ejisam, has indicated that the bank, as part of its 5-year strategic objectives, is focusing on diversifying the non-traditional export sector in a bid to increase export revenue, create employment and value. He disclosed this during his visit to the Northern and Upper East regions.
The Export and Import Act 1995 of
Act 503 of Ghana defined non-traditional export or NTEs to include all export products with the exception of cocoa beans, lumber and logs, unprocessed gold and other materials and electricity. The NTE sector, which plays a critical role in Ghana's economy, being one of the principal sources of foreign exchange generation, has seen considerable growth in revenue over the past decade, with the expectation that the sector's contribution to the overall export revenue basket of Ghana will increase from the present 19% to at least 30% in the next few years. Between the year 2005 to 2008, NTE earnings grew steadily at an annual average of about 20.1%, from $777.59 million in 2005 to $1,340.94 million in 2008. In 2009, the NTE sector recorded a 9.38% decline, with earnings at $1.215 million due primarily to the global economic recession, and in 2010 and 2011, earnings from the sector increased by 34.1% and 48.78%, amounting to $1.629 billion and $2.423 billion respectively. Meanwhile, in 2012, earnings from the sector again suffered decline by 2.24% to $2.364 billion in 2013. Earnings from the sector went up by 3.05% to $2.436 billion and again 3.20% to $2.514 billion in 2014. In 2015, Ghana's total revenue from non-traditional exports amounted to $2.522 billion, representing a modest growth of 0.32% over the previous year's performance of $2.514 billion. However, the trend has been fluctuating in terms of gains. In order to support the sector, the Chief Executive Officer of Exim Bank has indicated that because shea nut is a natural endowment of Ghana's northern part, the bank would soon launch the Share Empowerment Initiative to build the capacity of processors, empower aggregators who are mostly women, and also finance the entire value chain. An amount of 10 million Ghana cedis has been earmarked for phase 1 of this initiative. This will embody the construction of 4 share processing centers, training 900 aggregators and 300 processors. A portion of the funds will also be used to support the operations of cosmetics manufacturers who use shea nut as a main raw material for export production. According to the 2017 Ghana Export Promotion Authority report, the shea nut is one of Ghana's 10 leading non-traditional exports by way of revenue, with proceeds amounting to $33 million and $19 million respectively for 2015 and 2016. This value addition to shea nut is expected to increase significantly when the nuts are processed before export.
And that's it for the business segment. Up next is weather, followed by sports.
This is the sports bit of the news with me, Matilda Jimedoani. Sports this afternoon, Brighton and Hove Albion are waiting up moves for Ghana winger Edwin Jesse, as we have our sources understand. The 26-year-old could be tempted at the prospect of moving to the Premier League if Brighton firm up their interest in his services.
Brighton and Albion boss Chris Hughton is looking to bolster his side's wide midfield options this summer and has identified Edwin Jesse, as one of his top transfer targets this summer. Jesse's versatility in that can play out on the left or the right makes him an attractive proposition to Houghton. Brighton have held a long-term interest in Jesse and considered signing the Dutch-born Ghana international during the January transfer window before he ended up signing for CSKA Sofia from Ausland. The team has continued to keep tabs on Jesse and they could rekindle their interest this summer, but could face competition from a number of clubs at home and abroad, including Premier League rivals Huddersfield Town. Edwin Jesse has impressed in Bulgaria since his move to CSKA Sofia, scoring 1 goal and providing 2 assists in 12 games for the club.
We move away from that and go straight to Russia 2018, where Sepp Blatter is in Moscow after being invited by the Russian capital, or after being invited to the Russian capital by President Vladimir Putin. The banned FIFA president explained his presence at the World Cup as a fan.
I don't know why, because there should be no reason that the new administration of FIFA shall be against that the former president is coming to a World Cup. They should say, yes, come in, and then it's over, and then it's finished, and shake hands, and then everybody would be happy. No, I am a guest from Russia, so I am a fan. I got an accreditation as a fan. Just fan, it was written fan. I am a fan, that's all. Yeah, listen, I met President Putin yesterday evening. He invited me in his apartments in the Kremlin. It's not the first time I'm there, and we had small talk. That's all about the World Cup and about his pleasure to have the World Cup now here. And when you have a look what has happened in the first week on the field of play, it's good football, it's attractive football, passionate football.
So yesterday, the big match between Argentina and Croatia took center stage in Russia, and it was something that really disturbed fans of Lionel Messi because he couldn't live up to the billing. Now let's take a highlight of that game.
If it is Messi's time, then tonight will have to be a major turning point. Win tonight for Croatia, and they are in the last 16. Looking for Acuna. Well, they didn't get it right, and he may yet get in. Problems. Oh! And they look a gift horse in the mouth. Perez can't take the chance, but chaos reigned at the back for Croatia there. Oh, and Mandzukic in behind. And it's Croatia's turn to pass up an almighty chance. Mercado steps across at the other end. Oh, that's a gift for Rebic, who finishes it absolutely magnificently. They fell apart at the back, but they were punished in stunning fashion. And now Argentina are staring at major problems. This is Perez. Messi making a move inside. Higuain. Oh, and Messi! Oh, and Croatia escape. Rakitic at the last. Modric. Now he'll unleash one! Sensational goal from Luka Modric! And surely now, Croatia's golden generation are on their way to the last 16. Rakitic. Kovacic outside him. Rakitic goes on. Kovacic. Rakitic, they're going to walk it in. Job done in style for Croatia. Argentina bedraggled, ragged, desperate, and with real work to do. Croatia's dream is well and truly on. Argentina 0, Croatia 3.
So 3-0 it ended for the Croatian yesterday, and Lionel Messi couldn't really conjure the magic for his Argentina team. So after the game, Argentina fans criticized the tactics of head coach Jorge Sampaoli following their team's 3-0 loss to Croatia.
We can't win like this. We can't be world champions.
playing like this.
The whole responsibility is the trainer, Sampaoli, because he doesn't know to arm the team.
Didn't attack. Did all the passes were for the goalkeeper.
Messi alone is alone. The rest of players don't play good like Messi.
I think Argentina is having big problems. They're having big tactical problems. They have great players, but we won as a team, and that is what matters the most.
Great game, great victory. I'm so happy. This is one of the best games of Croatia in history. It's like against Germany in France '98. This is perfect.
And so that was some of the views of the supporters who were at the stadium concerning the tactics of their coach. My name is Matilda Jimedo. Up next is the entertainment bit of the news. Please do stay.
Thank you to Matilda for those sports updates. And now in entertainment news, Ghana's rock star Kwame Eugene has rendered an unqualified apology to Patapaa and his fans for calling his music noisy music. In a video he posted on his Twitter page, the Angela singer said he did not make the comment out of malice. According to him, he has a good relationship with Patapaa, which allows them to use certain words for each other.
What's up, it's your rock star Kwame Eugene, and I hear plenty confusion out there where I won't just clear us more. I beg, firstly, me and Patapaa be really close. We talk a lot and we laugh each other. Every day, just they laugh me say, I they do too much wedding songs, and I they laugh I'm saying they do too much noisy songs. So it's something we play plus. So I beg you guys to forgive me if you're offended with what I said. Forgive me, I'm so sorry. Those who are offended, I'm so sorry. And I will always support Patapaa. He's my brother, I'm his brother. I will always support Patapaa. I keep saying, sir, even I said in the interview, you want to be £1. I said it in the interview, sir, he's really doing a lot for Ghana, and I appreciate that. I mean, we are all learning from each other. So please, you guys, if you are offended, forgive me. And I will always support Patapaa. It's your rockstar Kwame Eugene. Wish me well as I wish Patapaa and Ghana well. Rockstar.
Alright, so that was Kwame Eugene sending an unqualified apology to Ghanaians and to Patapaa. Well, Patapaa's manager on the First Show this morning also gave his side of the issue, and according to him, that this track was leaked by the public. In a subsequent bulletin, we'll bring you up to date with what exactly ensued in that phone-in interview live on the First Show. Moving away from that to our international front, Akon says he's planning to release a new cryptocurrency named after himself called A-Coin. Speaking at the King's Lions Festival on Monday, the locked up singer said he believed cryptocurrency could be the savior of Africa.
A-Coin's official website says the singer wants the app on every mobile phone between now and December. And Akon says he's also planning to build a crypto city in Senegal, which he calls a real-life Wakanda. He calls it the first 100% crypto-based city with A-Coin at the center of transactional life. Under the A-Coin ecosystem, consumers will be able to buy, hold and spend cryptocurrency straight from their smartphones. He explained, it brings the power back to the people and brings the security back into the currency system. It also allows the people to utilize it in ways where they can advance themselves and not allow government to do those things that are keeping them down. However, Akon admitted he didn't know all the technical aspects of his new venture. He said, I come with a concept and let the geeks figure it out. Several celebrities have endorsed or invested in cryptocurrency, including Katy Perry, 50 Cent, and Ashton Kutcher.
Right, so let's wait for the Acorn cryptocurrency coming in from the camp of Acorn. Away from that, to a suspect who has been arrested in the case of XXXTentacion's murder after the 20-year-old rapper was fatally shot on Monday in South Florida. The Broward County Sheriff's Office confirmed Thursday morning that homicide detective arrested 22-year-old Dedrick Dovanche Williams.
According to the office, Williams was taken into custody on Wednesday night shortly before 7 p.m. His charges include first-degree murder, described as murder dangerous depraved without premeditation, grand theft of a motor vehicle, and operating without a valid driver's license. Authorities said more information will be released later today. Authorities said more information will be released later in the week. The Broward County Sheriff's Office previously confirmed that XXXTentacion was leaving River Motorsport in Deerfoot Beach shortly before 4 p.m. on Monday when two armed suspects approached his car. At least one of the suspects fired a gun before both fled in a dark-colored SUV. Investigators said the incident happened and appeared to be a possible robbery. The rapper was subsequently transported to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. At the time of his arrest, Williams was on probation until 2021 for grand theft motor vehicle, according to the Florida Department of Corrections.
That's all for entertainment news this afternoon. I'm Pamela Boateng. Coming up next is our foreign news, but after this very quick break.
If you always keep your money in your wallet. Hey, I fought dog there. For no mercy. Apuma. Yamana dem was say. Afuma baby. Shay. About money, man. My boy mu. Hey. Papa nem kabo. Hey. Easy. Yellow car. Easy. That car. Ah, referee. I'm when you cry. Oh, maybe I'm going. I'm when you cry. I GM about money. Ariaba. Kita afun baku anatwe bebre so aya aduma ma GM mobile money a percentage na abanya no aye bebre mebe hende aba register no star 712 hash I register here na no mama boy oh dear afato gbe obodo Messi obodo Messi wa bom papa ya me sure phone so bebe dey no so no nyaka
GN Mobile Money, total convenience.
You Pamela there with the entertainment news. Now welcome to the international segment of the news. South Sudan's rebel leader Riek Machar is to be relocated to a neutral country outside the region as part of a deal to end more than 4 years of civil war in the country. The plan is endorsed by regional leaders.
Mr. Machar has been under house arrest in South Africa since fleeing South Sudan's capital Juba in 2016. 2 days of peace talks held in Ethiopia have failed to break the deadlock between the warring sides. President Salva Kiir rejected proposals to work together with his former vice president in any transitional government. It was the first time Mr. Machar had met face-to-face with his rival President Kiir in almost 2 years. The next phase of talks are to be held in Sudan and Kenya and will for the first time focus on the country's economy, which has been shattered by the violence. Oil production has almost ground to a halt in the mineral-rich country. Mediators have, however, warned of sanctions if no deal is reached. Tens of thousands of people have been killed and millions more displaced since fighting broke out in December 2013.
Now, Mauritania's government has confirmed legislative elections will be held in September amid a row over a newly created electoral commission. Now, Mauritanians will choose members of parliament as well as regional and local councillors.
Country's opposition said that in April it would contest in the upcoming legislative and municipal elections after previously boycotting votes in the country. The National Forum for Democracy and Unity, seen as a radical opposition group, has declined to participate in a number of votes against President Mohamed Ould Abdel Aziz and his government, but said it would take part in the September elections. Tensions have mounted over a new electoral commission set up in April without members of the radical opposition. 4 parties are appealing to the Supreme Court for the commission to be withdrawn. Mauritania's president came to power in a coup in 2008 and was elected in 2009 and again in 2014 for a second 5-year term. FNDU helped spearhead a boycott of that vote, having previously declined to take part in legislative polls in 2013.
Now, the U.S. State Department has imposed visa bans on a number of Congolese officials accused of corruption on electoral malpractice to send a strong signal about the need for a peaceful transfer of power.
It declined to name those targeted, but said the move was intended to send a strong signal that Washington was committed to fighting corruption and to supporting credible elections. The Democratic Republic of Congo is to hold a much-delayed presidential election in December to choose a successor to Joseph Kabila. His second and final term in office ended in 2016, but many suspect he is trying to stay in power. The move comes before elections scheduled in DRC for December 23rd. There are concerns, however, that President Joseph Kabila, who succeeded his assassinated father Laurent in 2001, could delay the vote to seek a third elected term. The visa ban comes after the U.S. Treasury sanctioned Israeli billionaire Dan Gertler on June 15th, who it said had amassed a fortune through corrupt mining and oil deals in the DRC, using his close friendship with Kabila.
An Indonesian Muslim leader has been sentenced to death on Friday, June 22nd, 2018, over his role in a deadly 2016 suicide attack at Jakarta Starbucks cafe carried out by an affiliate of Islamic State of Iraq and Levant ISIL, also known as ISIS group.
Aman Abdurrahman, who police and prosecutors said is a key ideologue for ISIL in the world's largest Muslim nation, knelt and kissed the floor as the panel of 5 judges announced the sentence. Several hundred paramilitary and counter-terrorism police secured Jakarta court where the trial took place. Fears of attacks have been elevated in Indonesia after suicide bombings in the country's second-largest city, Surabaya, last month that were carried out by families including their young children. The suicide bombings in Surabaya killed 26 people, including 13 attackers. 2 families carried out the attacks using children as young as 7. Police said the leader of those bombers were part of the network of fighters inspired by Abdurrahman. During the trial, prosecutors said Abdurrahman's instructions from prison, where he was serving a terrorism-related sentence, resulted in several attacks in Indonesia.
Now, First Lady Melania Trump took a trip to the U.S.-Mexico border on Thursday to tour an immigrant children's shelter. But her trip is getting attention not only for her action, but also for her wardrobe choice before and after the journey. As the First Lady boarded her plane from Andrews Air Force Base, she wore an olive green jacket with an inscription, "I really don't care, do you?" She was, however, not wearing the jacket when she landed in McAllen, Texas.
Mrs. Trump redonned the jacket and wore it when deplaned back at Andrews Air Force Base despite the media storm that had erupted over her initial wearing. The Daily Mail first reported the jacket, which was spotted by the press traveling with the First Lady, but impossible to read without a long-range camera lens. The First Lady's team insisted that there was no hidden meaning behind the sartorial choice. East Wing Communications Director Stephanie Grisham told CNN in a statement, "It's a jacket and there was no hidden message." Later, President Donald Trump tweeted the jacket's message was a shot at the media. But a Republican close to the White House sent along a note to say that his explanation of the quote is revisionist history. The $39 jacket is last season's Zara.
And the final news on the international front, the European Union has introduced retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods as a top official launched a fresh attack on President Donald Trump's trade policy. The duties on $2.8 billion worth of U.S. goods came into force on Friday, June 22nd, 2018, and tariffs have been imposed on products such as bourbon whiskey, motorcycles, and orange juice.
European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker said duties imposed by the US on the EU go against all logic and history. Addressing the Irish Parliament in Dublin, he added that they will do everything to rebalance and safeguard the EU. The Trump administration announced in March that it would introduce tariffs of 25% on steel and 10% on aluminium imported into the US. Mr. Trump has argued that global oversupply of steel and aluminium driven by China threatens American steel and aluminium producers, which are vital to the U.S. After being deferred, the duties on steel and aluminium went ahead on 1st June and affects the EU, Canada, Mexico, and other close U.S. allies, including India. For its part, India has said it will raise taxes on 29 products imported from the U.S., including some agricultural goods, steel, and iron products in retaliation for the wide-ranging U.S. tariffs.
As it on the international front, but before we go, let's take a recap of the news headlines. It's unfortunate how Nyantechi's are rushing to occupy his seat. This is Dr. Papakwesi Indom on the ANAS number 12 expose. Speaker of Parliament registers for Ghana card amid minority boycott of exercise. Endela Africa Company Limited unveils Fiat Tipo in Ghana. And on the international front, EU tariffs on US goods come into force. That's all by way of news at 1 p.m. here on Gntv Ghana. My name is Anthony Simpson. African Business News is up next.
Fighting climate change in particular, both in Africa and in Europe, we are interdependent.
Our intake of refugees has been going up in recent years.
Today's markets and today's life is no more a question of common sense. It's a question of knowledge, understanding.
We have task forces that patrol the market.